welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And I hope no one has recently purchased a DJ Moore jersey
Oh,
because he is no longer a Carolina Panther. The Panthers have traded up to the number one pick in the
woohoo!
2023 NFL draft with the Bears. Just real quick, let's go over the compensation. Panthers are trading number 9. Number 61 that we got from San Francisco. That's a late
Yep.
second round pick. A first round pick in 2024 and a second round pick in 2025 plus DJ Moore. Jerry, your initial thoughts?
I hate seeing DJ Moore go. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great player, fought hard here, everything you want in a player. That being said, I'm great with this compensation. I mean, everyone assumes, and rightfully so, that this is a trade up for a quarterback that they want. Like, they have their mind on one or two quarterbacks, and they're going to go get them. As much as, again, I love the starting wide receiver, DJ Moore, it's the team is nothing without a quarterback. As DJ Moore has done his best, but losing
Yeah.
since.
I saw someone say this on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was, but it's easier to go out and find a wide receiver one than it is to go out and find a QB one.
Unless you're Ron Rivera and Marty Herney. Well, I guess they had that QB1, but they never got a wide receiver one.
Yeah. I mean, I too am, I wouldn't say I'm upset, but it's a bummer that we have to give up DJ. They just signed him to that big deal last year. He's been a pro, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Never going to lead the league in touchdowns, but just a really strong player. I mean, a legit number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we don't have
on a
one
good deal.
now.
On a good deal.
on a not yet. I mean, when you looked at some of the other deals that the wide receivers were signing last offseason, DJ was a bargain, honestly. That being said, he was going to make $20 million over the next couple seasons. Cap hits were going to be $20 million, and now that's not going to be an issue. So there are some cap saving implications, but trading up to number one, I mean, they're going after a quarterback and they had to do it. The reports are they wanted to give Chicago a 25 first. Chicago wanted DJ Moore to get the deal done.
Yeah. I mean,
they've obviously fallen in love with CJ Stroud or Bryce Young or both.
yeah.
Reports are that they're leaning towards Stroud, but I mean, it's early. They're going to be way more in-depth evaluations and things like that over the next few weeks. But do you think, I mean, did they have to do it now?
Yes.
Is this their opportunity? Their only opportunity?
I don't know if it's their only opportunity. I think they had to do it now because you have free agency starting next week. Now you don't
No. I mean this year. Was this the year to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
As much as I think that the quarterbacks may not be the best, they all have flaws. We all know this. But that being said, Frank Reich, you can't bring in another rehab project for him or this team. The Carolina Panthers have done it. He did it in Indianapolis ever since Andrew Luck retired. I think at this point, both teams, both the coach and this team, needed to really get a guy, groom him to be their franchise quarterback. And that's what you get. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and what are you going to do? You may win 5 to 8 games next year, have to trade up next year to get, one of them. And I don't know if you would be able to trade up next year. There's always that question.
Yeah, this was kind of a perfect storm in terms of new head coach, offensive-minded head coach. The team at number one did not need a quarterback, right? That's almost never the case. This is the first time a team has traded up to number one since 2016. And before that, it was like 15 years before that or something. So it doesn't happen very often, a team trading up to number one.
Yeah.
I'm a little of both minds about whether they had to do it this year. Because, like you said, there's no, bar none generational type talent at number one. But if there was, that pick probably wouldn't be for sale.
You're
right?
absolutely correct. I mean, the only time is if it was something other than a quarterback, but quarterback wise, no. I mean,
Yeah.
quarterbacks are what everybody wants.
Yeah, and you brought in. I mean, it feels like this was the plan all along, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing in Frank Wright, a QB whisperer. You're bringing in Josh McCown. You're bringing in all these guys that are known for and have respect among across the league of guys that can mold a quarterback. Now they're
Yeah.
trading up. They're going to go get that quarterback. Who do you? I mean, who do you want, Bryce or Stroud? We haven't done our profile on either one of them yet, but just from what you know, what the research you've done, what you've read about, what you've seen,
Stroud.
who's your guy? Stroud?
Stroud.
Me too. I think it's Stroud for me too.
I as much as if Bryce Young was 3 inches taller and 15 pounds heavier, just naturally instead of his water weight that he weighed in at the combine,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a no brainer.
Yeah,
But
I don't know that we'd have gotten the pick.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if other teams were backing up more Brinks trucks for them.
yeah,
But yeah, in my opinion, Stroud is a very complete player. I think look at that Georgia game. He has it.
mm-hmm.
He has the ability. And you're going to ask Frank Wright and Josh McCown and other coaches around to help bring that out of him more than Ohio State. I think he has all the tools and the
I agree,
size.
and
Sorry.
he will be our next draft profile. We'll just go ahead and say that he's going to
Yeah.
be our next one. So I'm looking forward to diving in more on him. But even if it's Bryce Young, I mean, Bryce Young, from all accounts, has all of the tools.
All the
He's
tools.
he's just a little short,
I
and we've seen quarterbacks his size or around his size succeed in the NFL, but it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, as a short person, guys, I am very short. Like I'm 5'7",
He's not that
barely.
short. Bryce Young's not
Yeah,
that short.
no, he's like 3 inches taller than me. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like I want a short guy to succeed. But at the same time, I'm being realistic here. He has to throw over these linemen, and he's also small in stature, man. If you get rocked by a defensive tackle,
Yeah,
like
that's
that
more
worries
my
me.
concern. That's more my concern is not so much him, being able to see over the line. Although we saw with Baker Mayfield that if you don't have proper technique, that is a major problem.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
it seems like he has proper technique. Like he's got all the skills. But man, he is so small in terms of if he gets hit, if he gets his hard, hit hard,
Mm-hmm.
how's he going to be able to hold up? Now we have a pretty good line, assuming they bring Bozeman back, which all accounts are they're going to. Bozeman wants to be here. They want to bring him back. So the line is good, but I don't know, man. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be really interested to go look at both of those guys and make, the final determination. But
Are
let's
we
just give
even
a.
are we even gonna look at Levis, or are we just gonna go ahead and
I
strictly?
think we should look at Levis just to be safe, because here's the other possibility here is the Panthers don't stay at one. All right. I
Well,
mean, they've already put out that they are willing to listen to offers to move back down. I don't know that they'd move down past two. I don't know that they should move down past two.
I don't either. In my opinion, it's 1 and 2, and then there's a gap, and then 3 and 4.
Yeah. I mean, if they trade back to three, like if they trade back to Indy, right? Indy trades up to one. They trade down to three. Indy takes Young. Houston takes Stroud. You're probably looking at AR,
Yeah,
right?
or
At
Levis.
three, or
Some
Levis
reason,
at
a
three.
lot of people still like Levis.
But you might recoup most, if not all, of the draft capital, at least, that you gave up.
Nope, nope. If you make this trade, you have to go get your top guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or if the team is basically we have 1A and 1B, dropping that back to 2 is fine. But
So what if they didn't give up more? Would you feel differently about that? Like instead of more, it was a 2025 first. Would you feel like, well, maybe
No,
they're just doing this to recoup some picks, do some
nope.
things like this. Okay.
I think you're going after a quarterback.
I mean,
They
I
have
agree. I'm just
they
saying.
have
But
identified one or two of these quarterbacks as a franchise guy. I
yeah,
can't imagine them saying 3 and 4 are franchise guys. Otherwise, I think you wait until the draft to make this move.
yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, it's well. Let's talk about DJ more a little bit. I
Mm,
mean, he's gone now. Um, he's been our number one wide receiver for several years. Steve Smith's spirit animal.
mm-hmm.
Um, how, how do you feel? How do you feel about DJ being gone?
Under certain under different circumstances, I would have been completely upset.
Yeah.
These circumstances, I understand, man. I love DJ. I think he's a great wide receiver. I wish we could have produced more for him with better
Hmm.
quarterback play, better coaching, but if we have to give him up to get our franchise quarterback, it's just something you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, he was very good here, but you've got a rookie quarterback coming in this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's a lost season this year, but we're probably not going to be competing for a Super Bowl this year with a rookie quarterback, right?
No, no,
Next year, you're hoping that they catch fire or something next year. But that's 2 seasons really where DJ may not be that valuable for a team that's going to be looking at 7 to 10 wins,
and
right?
here's another thing: is we still have 2 second-round draft picks from a couple years ago. We have Laviska Shenault and
Mm-hmm.
Terrace Marshall Jr. I don't think either one of those is ready to step in a number one role. And this draft is supposedly very deep at wide receiver, which I'm going to start looking into now because I
Yeah.
wasn't looking that much into it earlier. But I maybe they felt like, hey, maybe those two weren't getting the best coaching last year or the year before, so maybe we could do something better with them. And again, I also heard that the Bears weren't moving off DJ Moore instead of that first round pick.
Yeah, I heard the same. And if you wanted to get the deal done and DJ was the sticking point, I mean, I'm sorry, DJ, but it's more important to get that quarterback. It's just more important.
It really is.
Um, yeah, and I'm excited to see Laviska and Terrace Marshall Jr., but more importantly, or more for me, I'm more excited to see Laviska to see what they can do with him
Swing
because
pass.
last year there was no attempt to do anything with him other than
Swing
the
pass.
screen, the swing pass and the screen. That's it. That's
Hey
all it
guys.
was.
Hey guys, we got Laviska Chenault. You know what we should do? Swing pass. Swing
Yeah.
pass. It was like when you play that person in Madden who hasn't played in a long time and they just
Mm-hmm.
spam like the same 4 or 5 plays over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's me. That's me. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I've upped my game to 15.
We will miss DJ. We will miss
Oh,
DJ.
absolutely.
But they're gonna, they'll sign a couple of guys in free agency. They'll probably at least draft one with one of their, second, third round picks. But this isn't a win in 2023 move. This
No,
is set yourself up for the next decade, the next 15 years. If you hit on the right guy,
you hit
I
on the
loved it. I love that they're taking the shot.
I do too. This team needed to do this for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't make the swing on Justin Fields when he fell to the Panthers. They didn't move up for Justin Herbert when the scouts and the GM wanted to. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's misses here that this team
There's
could have
there's quite a few.
like.
Yeah, I mean, even Mac Jones, they wouldn't have, they could have taken Justin Fields or Mac Jones. Either would have been an upgrade over what we've had, the last several years. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
no,
you.
no. You're fine. I mean, it's just like, all right, the retreads are done. Come on.
Yeah.
There was talk of Jimmy G. Now he still could come in here if they really are in love with maybe AR-15, which I don't foresee happening. But
That would be weird to trade all the way up to number one for someone with that many questions.
Holes.
As much as we love him and would have been, ecstatic to get him at 6 through 9, trading all the way up to number 1
Woo.
for that much question would be
a lot.
Ballsy, like really ballsy. But yeah, I would be surprised if they did go out and sign like a Jimmy G or really any quarterback that's going to be more than 10, $12 million a year. I'd be shocked. I think this, in fact, I would say this almost guarantees we bring back Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I do too. And I believe that from what I heard rumor wise is they already have a deal not struck up, but a,
like an
handshake
agreement in place. Yeah. Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
And that makes the most sense in my opinion, but
yeah. But hey, we all enjoyed last season when, Steve Wilkes came in and was able to rally the troops. But this is kind of why a lot of fans were okay once we were eliminated from the playoffs, or once it seemed like playoffs weren't happening when we were 3-8.
Mm-hmm.
Why a lot of fans were like, let's just lose out. Because when you come back and you win some meaningless games, turned out to be meaningless games, this is what you have to give up to get back to where you would have been, right?
Yeah.
So for everyone out there that hates tanking or thinks that you're not a real fan, and then they're going to complain about this trade, well, you can't have it both ways.
I see both sides. I really do. Like early in the season, I was ready to tank, and then they went on that run. And I wanted to win at that point because
sure, of course,
winning's so much more fun, and especially since this franchise hasn't had a lot of it in many years, it feels like. So
yeah.
But now, yeah, let's go get our guy for our future. Next year's first. Okay, yeah, that sucks, but hopefully we're decent. So it's like in the teens.
I mean, really, they gave up 2 firsts and 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. But from a draft capital perspective, it's not a lot.
No.
You're in 2025. You're right back with your full complement of draft picks. Well, it's a 2025 second as well.
Yeah.
So you're missing your second in 2025.
But you never know. You have an early second this year. Who knows? Maybe you drop back 5-10 spaces, pick up a third or something. Then granted, it's not nearly as much, but
that's what we've seen Fitter or do.
Yeah.
He's the master of dropping back and acquiring more picks. Would it shock me if the Panthers have more picks in this draft come draft day than we have currently? No. In fact, it might shock me if we don't. Right? Yeah. They're trying to maximize what we got for the CMC trade. Some of what we traded today came from that. So
yeah, that second round pick.
Yeah.
This year is from them. It's not our early second. But
yeah.
Any last thoughts or anything else you want to discuss before we sign off on? Holy cow, I can't believe this happened.
I mean, I think we were expecting something to happen.
Oh, yeah. I think you and I both said we'd be shocked if we didn't move up in the draft. Granted, I didn't know if it would be this early, but
I didn't know if we were going to be able to get all the way to 1.
Yeah, I get that. I wouldn't either, but
I thought it was going to be 3 or 5, or maybe even 4 after a couple of other trades happened. But I mean, it's bittersweet, but it's really sweet. Like I'm excited about it.
I am too.
Yeah.
Now it's just the waiting game to see if they drop back to 2 or if they go ahead and basically announce who we're drafting, like it typically happens.
What they need to do is they need to figure out who Houston really wants, and then announce that's who they're going to draft. They need to force Houston to make a Godfather offer to move back to 2. And they need to be okay with either Stroud or Young. The Panthers do.
And we don't know that. One thing I did read like 2 days ago is that the Panthers and a couple other teams were trying to move to 1 for Bryce Young. Now, I don't know how factual that was, if it was for Bryce Young or if the simple fact is everybody was just trying to move up.
Again, I've seen a lot of reports since this happened of people saying that Stroud is the guy that the Panthers are eyeing. So, but again, that could be smoke.
It could
That could
be.
100% be smoke. Yeah,
I
never
mean,
trust what you're hearing. Like,
it's
honestly,
the
like this
season of
time,
lies.
it is because anything that you hear, someone has put it out there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
No.
it wouldn't be out there.
No.
Somebody's putting this stuff out there for some reason. So maybe Stroud's the guy. Maybe they're trying to blow smoke to Houston to move back, and they'll still get their guy and Bryce Young. Either way, man, like there's hope. There's more hope.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah,
I'm super excited.
yeah, me too.
All
All right.
right.
Oh, and by the way, apologies to the two people who left 5-star reviews on iTunes. We will get to you on our next episode, I promise.
CJ Stroud episode.
Yeah.
Well, then we got free agency too, so we're probably going to knock out CJ Stroud and then do some breaking with free agency. Because
Yeah.
I have a feeling this Panther team's going to make some moves.
There's going to be some fun to be had over the next couple of weeks.
Yes. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on an Apple podcast, we'll read it on our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back in a few days with the CJ Stroud draft profile. Until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.